Howdy, 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 my name's Anashi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. In the last episode, we read about skin, houses, meteors, bugs, and ice cream trucks that don't serve ice cream. In this one, we're going to be starting with the Wrecking Light. I don't know if that's like a wrecking ball or what, and we're going to go up through Thingmaker, which is probably not the 1960s Creepy Crawlers maker thing. So, well, it's Euclid. A 1 kilometer perimeter is to be maintained around 491 at all times for the purpose of preventing sea vessels access to the effects of 491. What? Entrance is to be barred to all personnel with a security clearance below level 2. Any intruders are to be questioned to ascertain their intent, then given Class B amnestics, and released no less than 20 kilometers from 491. SCP-491 is a lighthouse, built in the early 20th century, located at blankety-blank, Nova Scotia. The ocean floor surrounding 491 contains numerous wrecked ships which vary in time of origin, ranging from 1923 to 1987. The area within the perimeter of 491 is subject to spontaneous change caused by minor, whatever this means, earthquakes. The alterations caused to the topography of the seabed are greater than expected for earthquakes of these magnitudes. These earthquakes result in the production of large rocks or shallows in the path of an incoming vessel, inevitably sinking it. Eat your heart out, Titanic. Anyway, at random intervals, 491's lamp will activate, producing a green light that rotates at 6 revolutions per minute. Any area of the surrounding sea illuminated by this light will evince several ships identical to those present on the seafloor. These new ships will retain the damage inflicted upon them and begin to take on water at a slower rate than non-anomalous counterparts. Displacement of water evidenced by testing has shown that these ships are physical in nature. These ships only last for a short period, whatever this means, due to the rate at which 491's lamp rotates. The interior of 491 shows no anomalous effects and is typical of a lighthouse built in that era. The lamp room of 491 contains a mesoradial Fresnel lens lit by a Dallin light. Cutting off electrical power to the lamp has no effect on the activation of 491. All attempts to contain the light produced by 491 have failed. The light emitted by 491 is independent of the state of the lamp room. Complete removal of the lighting components did not prevent activation. Light emitted by 491 can be influenced by sufficiently reflective surfaces, so long as the light reaches the sea. See Incident Log 49132 for details on attempts to focus 491 into a continuous loop. Addendum 1. An interview with the former owner of 491, Blank Hana, was discovered in the Nova Scotia archives by Agent Blank, who submitted to the Foundation. Forward. The following transcript is an excerpt from a local news tribute conducted by Tyler Masuko for Blank Hana, the former owner of the lighthouse. Today indeed marks a sad day for Blank Blank. Just recently a local hero, Blank Hana, passed away. A former sailor in Australia, the sinking of his ship on a reef forced him into early retirement. He moved from town to town, including Cape Elizabeth, before finally finding his home here in beautiful blank Nova Scotia. You will always be remembered for his valiant efforts in manning the lighthouse, saving countless ships, no matter the weather or the hour, from the treacherous seas surrounding him. He gave his life last week, diving into the frigid waters to save the crew of the SS Keller, endangered by the rocky seas. We'll always remember his undying dedication and caring. Farewell, Mr. Hana. Addendum 2. On March the 25th of something, Foundation personnel sent an unmanned small ship, the SS Griever, into the affected area. A large rock in the path of the SS Griever immediately burst out of the water, tearing a large gash into the side of the SS Griever, sinking it within 2 minutes. During the next green light event, the SS Griever manifested above the area of its wreck. Addendum Audio Log 1. Forward. Through the use of several mirrors, Foundation personnel were able to keep the light produced by 491 focused at the wreckage of the SS Vancouver. The ship produced by 491 was boarded by Foundation personnel. Okay, we're on board. There doesn't seem to be anything unusual about the ship, no water damage, warping. I'm no expert, but I'd say it's 30s or 40s. Really large doors, immigrant ship. Our records of the SS Vancouver confirm that. Attempt to proceed to the interior of the ship, roger that. These doors are jammed shut, I can't budge them. We're going to try the crowbar. No, that's not working. Try the jaws of life. At this point, several voices can be heard from within. Only one is discernible above the sound of rushing water. Give me that bucket! We're inside the— Hold! Maintain distance! Agents, what's your status? Command, we have a potential biohazard. The hold is occupied by the former crew and passengers by the appearance of their clothing. They're all undergoing various stages of decay, but they don't seem to be aware of it. Some of the crew are trying to repair the damage to the hull, the others are attempting to contain the passengers in the back. Oh, thank God, more help! Please, could you help us plug up these holes? The passengers have seen us, they're trying to push past the crew. One of the passengers just, Command, they're broken through, we're pulling back. Gold, move! What are you doing? We have to save the ship! Expletive deleted. Or redacted. You! Give me that pump! Get back here! There's no audible dialogue for the span of 1 minute. However, signs of the struggle are evident. Command, I'm on deck! Agent Gold all audio is drowned out by a screech that lasts for approximately 30 seconds. The screech can be heard without transceivers from 491 Command, and all radio transmissions were interrupted for the duration of that sound. Along with the screech, a 6.6 something level earthquake occurred, dislodging several mirrors focusing the light, which ceases to illuminate the SS Vancouver. Radio contact with Agents Johnson and Gold was lost, and they are presumed dead. Incident report 2. Let's see. Personnel involved: 491 staff, Agent Davis. Date: March the 24th something, Nova Scotia. Following the incident recorded in an audio log 491, Foundation personnel were placed on high alert for the next green light event. Several radio devices set to different frequencies were placed around the area, and hopes that more information will be transmitted by the lost agents, with no results. At 2:32:47 a.m., the following radio transmission was recorded at 163.3 MHz. Scotia, this is the SS Vancouver. All ship repairs have been completed. We are now docking to unload passengers and luggage. Let's see. A series of mirrors was quickly constructed around the light, designed to allow the beam movement across the water. The beam's operator soon found the wreckage of the SS Vancouver. The manifestation was observed to be mobile, although no disturbances in the water were noted. The new SS Vancouver was tracked as it slowly approached a dock that had not previously manifested. The ship docked without incident, the crew successfully readying the ship for departure despite decomposition. Following the crew members was a series of passengers appearing to be of Eastern European origin, experiencing the same level of decay as the crew. Passengers were seen stopping to talk to crew members before picking up their luggage. Although the beam produced by the mirror system was not wide enough to capture all of the passengers, a procession could be seen moving along a flat area of ground towards the mainland. Upon leaving the half-kilometer radius, illumination by 491 ceased to reveal any passengers. Agents Johnson and Gold were identified amongst the passengers. Both agents were observed to be wearing their excursion gear, including radios, but all attempts to communicate by radio received no response, nor did they attempt to respond to visual and audio communication attempts. Agent Davis was instructed to attempt to make physical contact with Agents Gold and Johnson and attempt to retrieve them. Agent Davis made physical contact with Agent Gold at 12:39 in the morning, coinciding with an earthquake of 7.7 magnitude, which damaged the mirrors and redirected the light. All passengers immediately vanished along with the 3 agents. Further rescue attempts are currently suspended pending review. We're not even going to get to see the incident report from March 25th? Or that happened already. But there was a thing on here, said there was an incident, incident 32? Where'd he go? It's just, there was an incident mentioned, and it's not even here. And I'm a bit bummed about that. Unless that was this incident here. Let me double check. Incident log 32. Nope, it's not even in here. Attempts to focus it into a continuous loop. They were probably doing that to try to rescue their agents, but I guess we're just never going to get to find out how that went down. Next up is the animated cloth dummy. Sounds festive, safe, so that's cool. No special containment procedures are required for 492. 492 can be kept in standard on-site living quarters. Requests by SCP-492 that are within the site's capabilities, short of violating containment protocols, may be granted. In the event that 492 should become hostile, incendiary devices hidden in its living quarters may be used to neutralize the threat. Currently, due to its involvement in several other SCP projects, 492 has level 1 security clearance, but must be accompanied by at least 1 security guard at all times when outside its quarters. It has also agreed to have a standard tracking device sewed into its skin so that its movement may be monitored at all times. SCP-492 was formerly an animatronic dummy for a pirate attraction in the now abandoned Blank Amusement Park. Due to the nature of the amusement park it was found in, 492 was primarily made of low-quality synthetic cloth, and all of the hydraulic and electronic components inside it have been removed. However, due to unknown circumstances, 492 has gained motor skills and sentience. Medical scans of 492 have shown that it is completely hollow and is for all purposes literally a walking sentient cloth dummy. It is not known how 492 can stand or move without internal or external supporting structures, though tests have shown that 492's cloth body can expand and contract in a manner similar to human muscle. Despite the lack of a nervous system, 492 possesses all of the conventional 5 senses with the exception of taste, and is perfectly capable of perceiving the environment around it. It's not known how 492 is able to see, talk, hear, or smell. However, its ability to see and talk are connected to the eyes and mouth, which have been crudely drawn on by permanent marker, as the original dummy had no facial features. Erasure of the eyes and mouth would presumably render it unable to see or speak, respectively. Physically, 492 can feel. Through various tests, it was able to discern objects by touch alone. However, 492 does not feel pain, or at least has no concept of what it is. This is understandable, as its body seems to be essentially unaffected by physical attacks. Its soft cloth absorbs blunt force attacks harmlessly, and damage incurred as a result of being pierced, cut, or ripped can be easily repaired, provided 492 has access to a needle and thread. However, one note of interest is that 492 has an intense fear of fire, most likely due to its obviously flammable nature. In terms of strength, 492 performed exceedingly poor due to its fragile construction and lack of bone structure. Its strength is comparable to that of a human adult with markedly underdeveloped musculature. Mentally, 492 possesses all the conventional mental patterns and thought processes that define human behavior. It can think, learn, comprehend abstract concepts, solve puzzles, and feel emotion. IQ tests reveal 492 to be slightly above average at that 112. Numerous sessions with Foundation psychologists and psychoanalysts have shown no evidence of any past or present mental instability or disorder. 492 was discovered by Agent Blank while she was responding to a routine inspection order. A group of teenagers had broken into Blank amusement park, which had been closed for blank years at the time, and were later caught by local authorities. The teenagers were in a hysterical state of mind and told the local authorities that they had witnessed things coming alive in the park. The Foundation quickly took over the investigation at that point. The teenagers were taken into Foundation custody and were given a Class B amnestic before being returned to local authorities. Meanwhile, several search teams were sent into the park but found nothing of interest. Agent Blank, however, stumbled across 492 while she was searching the outskirts of the park. Agent Blank then managed to convince 492 to surrender itself into Foundation custody. As a side note, 492 apparently knows how to play the violin and is quite proficient, knowing several well-known pieces. How, where, or when exactly 492 learned such a skill is unknown. It has no knowledge of the origin of this ability either. Addendum 1. Due to its friendly and overtly helpful nature and non-threatening nature, Dr. Blank has decided to let 492 freely interact with on-site personnel. Because of its previous career as an animatronic pirate, on-site staff have taken to nicknaming 492 Captain Jack. Performance and opinion surveys of 492 by on-site staff have proven so remarkably positive that O5 administration has decided to let Dr. Blank's experiment continue indefinitely. Addendum 2. Given to 492's lack of organs or any biological material, it has proven to be uniquely suited to handling SCPs that would be dangerous to regular humans. 492 has already been cleared to participate in several experiments with safe-level SCPs. However, handling Euclid and Keter class SCPs requires a security clearance upgrade and is pending O5 review. Addendum 3. A Foundation surveillance team has been permanently posted at Blank Amusement Park after the following interview with 492. Do you remember when exactly you became aware of your own existence? Well, I can't quite tell for sure. A day is when the sun comes up and goes down, right? That's correct. Well then, that would be about blank, that's like 1,000 days. To my best guess. You mean you've been wandering around that park for blank years? Is that a bad thing? No, moving on. Did you notice anything strange about the park at all? Were there any others like you? Well, I really didn't have that much reason to go back into the park. It felt like I'd wasted years of life there, you know? That's a perfectly understandable feeling. Yeah, and the guys in the dinosaur ride kept trying to eat me. That seems like a good reason to post a permanent surveillance team after after that was said. Okay, so the animated cloth dummy sounds nice. Let's see what the replicant is. I wonder if it'll be like the replicants from Blade Runner or something else. Well, they're safe. Instances of 493 are to be kept in separate standard personnel grade rooms with basic furnishing for a human-like SCP. Okay, it sounds like it is the replicants from Blade Runner. Individual 493 may request additional furnishings provided the request does not violate restrictions specific to that individual. Additions must be approved on a case-by-case basis by level 4 personnel. 493 2 and 3 have been allowed to continue their work as level 2 personnel, however they are not to be assigned to high-risk areas in order to prevent premature duplication. Each instance of 493 is to be marked with a tattoo of their designation number on their upper right arm to prevent any confusion between the otherwise similar appearance of each individual. Okay, maybe they're not like the replicants of Blade Runner. 493 is a group of genetically identical males of apparent ages between 20 and 90 years old. The younger 493s have brown hair and brown eyes, are about 1.7 meters tall, and weigh between 70 and 90 kilograms, depending on diet and activity. Older 493's hair turns gray after beginning to bald around an apparent age of 50 years old. 493 currently in containment is fluent in English and multiple dialects of German, speaking with a moderate Swiss-German accent. 7 and 8 are also fluent in Spanish. 7 instances of 493 are currently in containment. From estimated duplication rates, it is believed that a minimum of 12 instances have not yet been contained. When an instance of 493 dies, nothing abnormal presents itself immediately. The corpse will decompose naturally. However, approximately 3 hours after death, 2 younger 493s appearing to be in their early 20s will materialize in close proximity to the location of death. These 2 new instances of 493 are identical to each other and maintain the memories of all their previous lives. Other than the memories of their previous life, individual instances of 493 do not appear to share any sort of mental link or bond with each other after reconstitution. If the 2 493s move away from each other geographically, they may lead completely separate lives. Addendum. 1 came to the Foundation in 1963 as a level 1 researcher 4 years before it was known that he had unique attributes. On April blank 1967, shortly after being given level 2 access, they were killed during a containment breach of SCP blank at Site 19. His remains were dealt with according to standard procedure for all level 2 personnel. 3 hours and 2 minutes after 1's death, several disposable dudes involved in the cleanup reported a thin mist appeared in two vaguely humanoid shapes in the corridor outside SCP blank's containment chamber. Approximately half a minute later, a bright flash followed. As the flash subsided, 2 naked human males, 2 and 3, were standing in place of the mist. The pair were immediately placed in containment and then questioned. 2 and 3 have divulged their origins, the accuracy of which has been largely confirmed by historical and dental records. The original 493 was born in 16-something Zurich, Switzerland, becoming a successful Protestant pastor before his death and subsequent reconstitution in 17-something. 2 and 3 claim the events involving SCP blank resulted in their 5th reconstitution to date. Details of 1's family tree of reconstitution can be found in Document H, which is probably not here. Containment of free 493 is a work in progress. It is the Foundation's hope that the majority of 493 can be contained before duplication of 493 runs exponentially out of control. However, just rounding up these subjects is quite the task. It's not like we can put a bulletin up when the people we need to find could be of any age. It's unknown if 493 will keep dividing with every death, but there's no reason to doubt such an occurrence. Permanent containment and termination options are currently under consideration. Update 1. Agent Blank apprehended 4 and 5 in Blank, Germany on December blank 1967. Each appears to be approximately 40 years old, the same age as 1 before death. On February blank 1976, 6 is discovered homeless on the streets of New York City, apparently 30 years of age. Incident Report A. 6 commits suicide, data expunged, 7 and 8 are to be kept under close observation in quarters guarded against future suicide attempts. Update 3. Following several heated arguments over the current political and religious status in various major nations, 2 and 3 have requested to be removed from duty in sectors surrounding and including Containment Chamber of 5. Request denied. You're professionals, start acting like it, says the Doctor in 1980. Update 4. 2 and 3 have repeated requests to be removed from 5, stating that Regulation 36, subsection 8A, states that they are not permitted to oversee contained family members without sufficient supervision, and arguing that this regulation applies to their case. Request granted by the Doctor. 2 and 3 are denied access to all other 493s. And I'm sick and tired of them heaping extra paperwork on me by quoting obscure regulations that I didn't even know about. Update 5. 4 dies after complications following a fall and a broken hip in 2005. Well, that was one of my more unpleasant deaths, 4039, shortly after reconstitution. Memo 493BA. Request by Dr. Blank to show him what an unpleasant death is denied. No, I don't care that he'll survive it. We don't need any more of these, even more of these running around. Okay then. And now it's time to see what the matter transference gloves, okay, I said that right, do. They're safe because they're gloves. 494 does not require any special containment procedures other than being kept under lock and key in storage bunker blank at site blank. Level 2 clearance and written permission from a level 4 or higher researcher is required for testing procedures regarding it. SCP-494 appears to be a regular pair of black leather fingerless gloves. Its anomalous features can only be observed while worn by a human subject. Upon being fitted onto the hand, 494 will change size to match that of its wearer. Test subjects have described the feeling of wearing the gloves as if they were not wearing gloves at all. Its true anomalous nature is revealed in that when an object is held in each gloved hands, after exactly 5 minutes, the two objects' makeup will suddenly be traded. The range of materials that can be transferred as yet seems to have no limit and has been observed to create working machines and even living organisms from the provided materials. See test log for details. 494 seems to have some limitations, such as the fact that only objects that can be supported by the wearer's strength, artificial assistance such as leaning one's hands against a wall or table seem to negate the effects of the gloves, will be transformed, and for reasons unknown, the gloves will refuse to work when worn by a subject over the age of 60. So, materials for test 1, blank. Right hand, in the right hand, a 0.24 carat diamond, and the left hand, a regular golf ball. Result: right hand, 1 diamond-shaped piece of plastic. Left hand, 1 rounded crystal formation, 2 inches in diameter. Diffractometer confirms monocrystalline diamond. Oh, okay. So I misunderstood it as changing the gloves material, but it looks like what they ended up doing instead was they made a golf ball-sized diamond. 2. A Nokia flip cover cellular phone and stainless steel razor blades. So it's a Nokia razor phone and some razor blades. Right hand, 1 hinged stainless steel box with acid edge surface denoting a cell phone keypad. Left hand, 2mm thick machines with small screens of microscopic computer circuitry, found to be fully functional as cellular phones. Test 3. Right hand, a lab rat. Left hand, a penny. Right hand, a copper statuette of a rat. Left hand, a small disc-shaped organism with white fur. Though lacking sensory organs or any observed lungs or digestive system, organ is entirely viable and responds to external stimuli such as light and pain. Test 4. A vial containing live Streptococcus bacteria and 1 laboratory rat. Okay, right hand, a vial containing animal cells with DNA of rat. Left hand, no observable difference aside from a slight change in the hue of the animal's fur. However, after further observation, the resulting animal proved to be capable of asexual reproduction. It proceeded to give birth to 77 young within an hour without any indication of stopping. Resulting offspring grew rapidly, maturing within a half hour. Mature offspring in turn produced their own offspring. All animals were subsequently incinerated. Estimations of rate of production suggest over 100,000 young would have been produced within a day. Note, all tests involving the effects of 494 on live microorganisms are now strictly prohibited. Addendum 1, suggestions for testing the effects of 494 on SCP-500 in conjunction with other materials are currently pending. We're actually going to find out what that means in tomorrow's episode, so cool. And that brings us to the Thingmaker. It is a fucking Thingmaker from the 1960s! Huh! So, SCP-495 is to be kept in a locked room plugged into a standard active 120-volt power outlet when not in use. A life-size mold of a clam, oyster, or other species of sessile bivalve is to be stored within 495. The mold is to contain no more than 100 grams of wax. Personnel are reminded that not all bivalves are sessile. In the event of a mold being destroyed, consult with an on-staff malacologist before obtaining a replacement. In the event of a power failure, at least 1 level 1 security personnel must enter the storage room and monitor the item for activity until power is restored. Researchers wishing to use 495 must submit a written description of the planned experiment to Dr. Blank. Due to the results of experiment 495 blank, all molds and materials must be approved by at least 1 level 3 or higher personnel before use with 495. At least 1 personnel with experience treating venomous bites and stings must be available on standby while 495 is in use. Description: SCP-495 appears to be the oven from a 1992 Toymax Creepy Crawlers playset, save that Creepy Crawlers logo sticker has been replaced with the logo from a 1964 Mattel Thingmaker hot plate, a toy of virtually identical function to the more recent Toymax version, discontinued by Mattel in the 1970s due to insufficient safety features. While 495 is plugged into a standard 120-volt outlet, it functions as a normal Creepy Crawlers oven. When not plugged into a power outlet, 495 displays the following anomalous behavior. Upon insertion of a filled or partially filled mold, 495's activation switch moves to the on position automatically. The internal heating lamp appears to remain unlit, but the oven begins to gain warmth from an unknown source, reaching a peak internal temperature of 257.2 degrees Celsius, as measured by an infrared camera. After approximately 8 minutes, 495's activation switch moves to the off position automatically. Contrary to the behavior of a standard Toymax Creepy Crawler oven, 494's door will open immediately instead of remaining locked while the mold cools. All molded items will animate upon removal from the oven, behaving as though they were natural organisms. Animated objects are physically detailed well beyond what their molds would seem to allow, appearing physically identical to their natural counterparts save for unusual coloration, corresponding to the materials used to fill their molds. Dissection of animated objects reveals tissues and other internal structures composed entirely of whatever material was used to fill the mold. Any substance and mold used with 495 will produce results. Handmade molds or substances other than Toymax or Mattel plastic goop, such as chocolate or wax, will result in animate objects. Addendum. Just because they're made of plastic doesn't mean they're safe. Where the venom comes from, I don't know, but Agent Blank is now in the infirmary after being bitten by a tiny purple asp. Please treat the products of 495 as you would any venomous animal, Dr. Blank. Okay, cool. So, not only am I glad that it feels cool that I was right about what the Thingmaker was, even down to the decades that it was talking about, and the fact that it name-dropped creepy crawlers and the Thingmaker, which I didn't even know was a purposeful connection. I thought it was just a thing that had happened. But in any case, this has been Anashi Sasuke. This was episode 109 of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. In the next episode, we're going to start with a sunken relic and move up through SCP-500, because we finally reached that set of SCPs. So, if you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you need to do either one of those things, and I will see y'all in the next one. Later.